Okay, so right now we're just going to talk about limits. What are some basic definitions of limits and how do you define them both in terms of words, equations, and graphically? So basically a limit, what you want to think about is a limit is not what a function is, but what it is going to. And we're going to get back to this statement over and over again when we talk about limits. But before we talk about what an overall limit is, we need to talk about what are called left-handed and right-handed limits. So a right-handed limit means what is the function approaching as we're coming in from the right. So if we look at this function right here, and let's say we're going to be, in this case, we want to, for example, look at what does f of x approach as x approaches the value a from the right. So if you look at this graph right here, we have x equals a right here. This line is the function. Approaching from the right means as we're approaching the value x equals a to the right of a, we want to see what the function is approaching. Now in this case, as we're approaching x equals a to the right, our function is moving down, 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 down until it's getting to this y value right here, which is L. So in this case, we would say as we approach the value x equals a from the right, our function is going to that point y equals L. So if we want to write this in an equation, we would write this as limit LIM of f of x as x approaches a plus. Now approaches, in math we use that as an arrow, and then the plus and the a means to the right, because let's say if a was equal to 1 right here, a value slightly to the right of 1 would be like 1.1, 1.001, 1 and 100 zeros, and then 1 after that, just something slightly above 1. So that's what this terminology means right here. So again, we looked at the graph and we said in this case, as we're approaching a from the right, we are approaching y equals L. So if we wanted to write this in terms of a limit, that's what it would look like, okay? Now when we do a left-handed limit, that's going to be very similar, except now we're concerned about what does the function approach as x approaches a from the left. Now if to the right was to the right of a, to the left is going to be to the left of a. And if to the right was a value slightly greater than a, the left is going to be a value slightly less than a. So if we wanted to write the phrase, what does f of x approach as x approaches the value a from the left right here in an equation, we would write it as this, limit f of x as x approaches a minus. Now the only difference between this equation and this equation is we have a plus sign here indicating right, meaning greater than a, and here we have a minus sign indicating left, meaning less than a. So if we follow this, as we're approaching a from the left, we are again going to this point of y is equal to L, okay? So this is the basic terminology of limits. This is a left-handed limit, this is a right-handed limit. Now we're going to talk about what is the limit, we would say as x approaches a, as in neither from the right nor the left, just as it approaches it in general.